Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the weekend update. I'm actually going to start the video off a little different this week. We're actually going to start off with AI, which is the stock, as you know, pretty much for most of the year that I've used as my personal barometer for what the action is like in the market. I like to latch on and have for many, many years. There's always a stock that you'll find that when you watch how it trades, it gives you an idea of what the action is in the kinds of stocks you're trading. For me this year, AI has been an excellent barometer. As I mentioned in last weekend's video, I was actually looking to pick up or add to my long-term position in this stock because I felt like a turn was ready to happen. And boy, did we see a turn. Nice move there, 45 all the way up to 51. Solid bounce on this one. But the reason I started off this week, because this was a very good week for bounce plays, short squeezes, etc., etc. Over the last 2-3 weeks, we saw a lot of nonsense in the market in a lot of stocks. There was just a lack of volume. The trading was pretty sad, and shorts were just piling on and pushing stocks lower and lower, and you could tell that that was the action that was happening. But there wasn't really much you could do, because in a market like that, you kind of have to sit back, know what you own, and be okay seeing it lower and getting ready to add. That's how I approach tapes like that. Now, this move that we've seen in AI, the action on Thursday and Friday was probably some of the most bullish action I've seen in most of the market in quite a while, which is a strange thing to say for August. You know, the expectation, and August was actually living up to it, that it can be a very, very dry, boring, dead time of the year. But I've also mentioned that just because something happens every year doesn't mean that out of the blue we can see action return in a very, very quick manner. And that's what we saw this week. This next upcoming week is going to be the key. If we continue to see the kind of strength and buying volume that I've seen, you know, especially in the last couple of days of this week, early next week, I'm going to view that as a very, very positive sign. Doesn't mean I'm going to change my stance on my cash stance. Heck no. I hope you guys have seen that even being high cash, it actually prepares you better for the kind of action that can spontaneously happen out there in the market. As for AI, the reason I'm also bullish, the chart looks a lot like it did in May when we had that very, very solid move up on stuff. I mean, this stock went from 47 to 76 over the course of 2 weeks. The tail of the tape, as they say, is going to be if we can get a break above this 50-day moving average. But this stock looks really, really good right now, and that also bodes well for the market. Looking at the large caps, you can see here, looking at the Dow and the large caps are actually very, very nice to us this week. It was all really a back and forth, pretty tight trading range, and that is why you saw other stocks wake up. It's when you see gigantic moves in the large caps that you see most of the markets go to sleep, because the robots are trading that. When the mega caps kind of go to sleep, you see that action roll out. Qs, of course, broke out this week and looking very, very good. Now, one thing I did wanted to point out, even though, you know, we've seen some crazy moves, the RSIs are not too bad on a lot of the indices right now. So there could be, if the bulls take charge this week, a very, very nice move. As for nice moves, SPRT, oh my goodness, look at the move on that puppy. They hated it at 3. They loved it at 59 on Friday. That is what we call a short squeeze, and this is what has really propelled this market. I believe I mentioned in last week's video that while we were seeing, or I was seeing a lot of my stocks getting hammered on shorts, I was okay with that. I know what I own. I know what the stories are. And the fact that it was shorting pushing them down, in my opinion, shorting is not a bad thing. Who do you think sends stocks up like this? Do you think it's normal? Well, it is normal schmoes with the scanners and the FOMO, but this is also these cocky shorts, most of them rookies, who short crazy stocks and then just continue to get squeezed. That's what this kind of action is. SPRT, remember how difficult this stock was really up until last month, before mid-month. I mean, a month ago, this was one of those frustrating stocks that you would go, man, this thing wants to break out. It won't break out. Shorts are piling in. Well, you know, they had their day of reckoning. Any. Of course, this one ended up, despite its news on Friday, going up with sport, but again, it has continued to be an ATM. Spikes big, drops big. The bounces are very, very good in this one. Now, on Friday, they announced a $250 million shelf. Now, Bitcoin mining is an intensive endeavor, so not a surprise that they did this, but that could top this one near term. Where would I be looking to add? Usually 440 to 60 on this one, but we may see another move back down to the 50-day moving average on the 1 hour chart. So that's definitely, this range here is where I would be looking to pick back up some shares. SBET, yeah. Again, remember last week, it was the end of the world on this stock as the shorts hammered a bunch of stocks underneath their 200-day moving average. Look at this. They didn't want it at 430 last week. They were chasing it at 670 on Friday. Again, this remains. This is my new conviction swing, as I continue to say. This is my new sport. My eyes, the reason I have this highlighted here, this is the pre-split high. So when this stock did its merger, it did a split. So this is the equivalent high of this stock. That is my target. That's my swing target, and we'll see where the long-term market goes there. But this sports betting market is on fire if you've not been looking around. The stocks in this sector are going crazy. GAMB earnings on Thursday up 100% in 2 days. So that just tells you the kind of movement we can see here. Short interest is not out there yet. They say there's not a whole lot of short interest on this one. I don't know. The action I see on it, I highly doubt that. Chart looks really, really good here. BBIG, again, this was another one. Hammered under the 200-day moving average, broke below support last week. Again, it was another one. This is what I talk about, that when I know what I own and I'm swinging in a dead tape, when they stocks that I own do things like this, or when SBET did something, like this, I'm okay holding it, because I know what I have. I've got the discipline. I've got the cash on the sideline. I'm not over leveraged. The problem a lot of traders run into is they're 20%, 30%, 70% in market, and half of that is in one stock. So when that one stock goes down, they get whooped. That's where having those discipline rules really come into play. Imagine stopping out of this one last week and then looking at it on Friday as the scanner chasers all found it again. Who wants to buy here when you can chase up here? Great move on this one. Quick note. On moves like this, it's not a win until you have some profits in your pocket. That's all I'm going to say. You do this job, which is a great job, if you have discipline, to put money in your pocket. And that's all I'm going to say. Now, the short squeeze action has been phenomenal. SDC, Smile Direct Club, got hammered on its earnings report. But as I mentioned last week, putting in a very nice bottom, one of the highest shorted stocks currently, and it's a big daddy. Where will they start chasing this one? 50 or 20-day EMA is 550. I actually think if the short squeeze algos come in here, a move to 7 to 8 is not crazy. The last stock that I thought a similar view on was Clove in the 7s before it got squeezed over 20 a few months ago. So SDC has all the ingredients and a great chart, in my opinion, for one of those nice near-term moves. XELA, this is one of the highest shorted stocks under $3 as of early last week when I added a swing position on this one, and on Friday they found it. Boom, she went. Now, my favorite one going in is WTRH. Got hammered on its earnings report, which wasn't too bad considering, the others in this sector. The reasoning they used in the headlines that it got hammered was that they're buying fintech companies, payment companies, and for some reason, the market didn't like that news. It's probably the narrative that the shorts wanted out there because this is a heavily shorted stock. This is the most shorted stock priced under 2 right now, looking at numerous different short sites that give that data. It's at 20 to 23%, 30 million plus shares short on this one, depending on where you look for that data. Again, fintech is a hot sector. So the pivot to that, I don't view it as a bad thing. This is a sweet chart, heavily shorted stock. 50-day is at 157. That's about 25 cents higher. And if it goes crazy, the 200's at 260. Nice little chart here. Squeeze stocks are going, and you know the algos are going after high short interest stocks one by one. I think this WTRH could have a very, very nice week. SNMP, infrastructure bill due. They couldn't get enough of this one a couple of weeks ago at 193. This is the daily chart, but pulled out quite a bit. You can see all the way back down to the 200-day moving average. The close-up chart here will give you a better idea of how nice this chart looks. They couldn't get enough of this 2 weeks ago up here, and they don't want it down here at the 200-day moving average. 50 days 114, 20-day 112. MACD, as you can see on MACD, still hasn't crossed yet. And a thing you will notice on a lot of these bouncer stocks, stochastics are still all in the toilet here. So they haven't even started to turn. So that I view as a very bullish thing on a lot of these setups right now. Let's look at some other nice chart setups. SYPR, as I've said, monster earnings report a week or two ago. No one interested. Where will they be interested? The scanners will probably tell them to chase 365 to 80. Again, this is a space stock. They're involved with NASA's deep space program. Need I say more? And all their other businesses are wildly profitable. Again, like I said, some of these swings that I play require patience, but I always make sure that I can add more to my positions because I have high cash. And when I say add more to my positions, you know, I still stick to my rule of 5% or under. In a mania, I may go higher, but my rule is 5% or under. 2 to 3% is ideal for me. That way, I can always be able to add to a swing on stupid dips. Nice chart on SYPR right now. Stochastics about to break 50. This stock could have a very nice week. Pennyland, SONM. This is my favorite penny right now. And you're looking here in the chart. They did an offering with one of these third-tier brokers, Riley, back in June 30th. $10 million at-the-market offering. What an at-the-market offering means is these guys sell shares continually during the day. What typically happens is you see a lot of shorting, although it's not supposed to happen. But hey, why do you think this is happening here? All the way down. Now, when they did their earnings report a week or so ago, they stated that in July they had raised $8.4 million in July. August is almost over. They only had $1.6 million worth left. That is why I said the ATM is done, and that sell pressure should be off on this one. 200-day moving average is at 68 cents. Chasers come in. Probably get that first trigger at the 50-day at 46 cents, but you'll probably really see the chasers come in 47 to 50 with eyes on this 200-day moving average. Really like this swing. RSI is about to break 50. So is stochastics. And you know what? The cool thing about this stock as well, which is I believe going to be a stock I'm planning on playing for the rest of the year, is it's now a merger candidate. And you recall all the previous merger candidates, Torch, etc., over the last couple of years. Once they do that deal, they end up being ATMs for many, many months afterwards. ELTK, monster earnings, low float. Chasers come in 720 to 750. It's about to get a MACD cross as well. Quick mention on IKNX. This was another sport/any green Bitcoin miner. Breakout 2750 on Friday. Chasers at 34. Gotta love this market. Breakout charts are doing very well right now, especially in hot sectors and especially if they're loaded with shorts. Quick mention on PPTA. This is a play. They are the partner with UNIM and Ambry for the liquid EV batteries. They've got a battery event on Tuesday. Stock got a $22 price target on Wednesday, popped to $5.90, came right back down. Big event Tuesday, magged it up here to $5.90. And of course, when that one goes, Ambry and PPTA are nothing without UNIM. So UNIM, dipped under its 200-day moving average, about to get a positive MACD cross. Chasers, you know, this is probably just going to be a slow move higher, and then people are going to go, oh, it's 115. Maybe I might chase this one. That's the nature of this market. Last stock I want to mention, got to do a little mention on the COVID plays. Actually, I didn't even update this chart. This one is slowly moving higher right now. This is a news play, essentially, is what I'm saying. It's slowly moving up. Did get a positive MACD cross. News could come at any time, but they said 6 to 8 weeks from July. So I would say mid-September is probably when we would expect a press release. But you never know on these biotechs. And when they get news, the scanners like to chase in pre-market. So that's it for the video, guys. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I will see you all in the chat room Monday.